How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with yet another review. A bit of New York meets UK. I'm not quite sure where Cloudwater is, but New York meets UK double IPA. Hopeful goodness, in a form of Other Half Brewing and Cloudwater Brewing. It's their imaginary Greenscapes Imperial India Pale Ale, 8% alcohol by volume. This be canned 1/30/2019. So this being the 2nd of March, just about a month old. Probably where I think most Other Half beers hit their stride. So there you go. This comes courtesy of Gordon. Thank you very much, brother. He sent me off a box of New York and Jersey goodness. So I'm kind of excited to dive into this sucker because love me some Other Half. And honestly, what I've had from Cloudwater, pretty damn good stuff. So let's crack open and see what you got. Label wise, it's it's Other Half. It's a sticker geometric pattern canned beer. It's kind of like they popularized that kind of thing when it comes to kind of how cans are done nowadays. So it kind of makes sense. It's just a bunch of lines that kind of form a star. I can get down with it. So there you go. What do we have beer wise? You're looking at something that is, believe it or not, I know it's going to come as a shock. Looks like a hazy double IPA. Pinky finger, creaminess, kind of rocky edges. Couple stragglers besides the uniform bubbles, and just got a soft taste or a little bit of a kind of cataract edges. We're checking all the marks here. Let's get a nose. I kind of dig that. Yeah, it's got melons all the way on top of this kind of soft, kind of minty eucalyptus-like kind of green hop. Yeah, bright green. Very bright, like the green. Usually when you're talking about green in a beer, it's coming off as like this dank, rich thickness. Do you know what I mean? This is coming off a very light, very airy, very kind of like eucalyptus, kind of minty like in the hop world, and that's kind of cool outside of the just melons in your face. Yeah, and prerequisite citrus in there, grapefruit, yada yada yada. But those are the two portions of the show. That eucalyptus mintiness, and yeah, that little bit of soft melon is really kind of what hits me. It has a nice softness to it. It doesn't smell overly sweet, although it's leaning sweet, and there's ever so slightest bit of like bittering on top of that little bit of minty greenness. So let's dive in. Cheers. That's a cool beer. That's a good beer. This is very not Other Half. I know, I think it's Matt, more specifically Matt, but I know they really kind of don't like the big green portion when it comes to hop presence. And IPAs, more often than not, they kind of lead the drop out all bitterness, super juicy kind of thing. They don't really dig on the green portion of the show. This has it in spades, but since it has that green, it has that nice rich dankiness to it. It doesn't come off super heavy, and it has that added component of that like kind of eucalyptus-y, kind of vibrant, kind of sprightly kind of brightness to it. And I really kind of dig it, to be perfectly honest with you. It's very different than what I've had from Other Half, and this is kind of like where a lot of new school beers tend not to go, but I like it when they do go there. So you get that big minty eucalyptus green component. Melon, I mean, just straight juicy melonness thrown around the whole thing. Prerequisite citrus in there. Really nice, soft, silky, creamy mouthfeel. Nothing too dense. Done and done. This is probably one of the better, if not one of the best, Other Half hazies I've ever had, to be perfectly honest with you. This really does it for me. I really dig this beer. And it's a month old, so any of that kind of perceptual greenness in there has got to be purposeful. There's no way that's going to last that month. You talk a couple days old, you get green, sure, there might be waiting for it to kind of settle in the can, but no. This is delicious stuff. And like I said, probably one of the better ones I've had. I don't know if this came out previously because I'm getting this as the beginning of March. And I know they had their anniversary. Actually, was there like pretty much right after they did their anniversary. And I know they brought back a ton of collabs and threw them in the cans that they did over the years. Or maybe it was all just of last year. So this might have been one of those. I don't know if it's a newer one or not, but it's definitely pretty damn tasty stuff. Yeah, this is great. And that's the weird thing, is that it's probably one of the better Other Half hazies I've ever had. But it's very much not Other Half, like I said. So it's kind of like weird. Weird in a good way. Let's put it that way. That's pretty much it. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better double IPAs that I've had as of late? Actually, yeah. It just works for me. I'm very surprised because since it is so outside of what you typically get from other half, a lot of times when companies dip out of their comfort zone, sometimes you get something that's a little bit disjointed. But, you know, you have Cloudwater. It's probably, I've had my limited exposure to them. I don't know if that green thing is their thing, but if they're doing it that well, then they're probably bringing that to the game. And this kind of rings as an actual collab. Usually a lot of times when brewers do collabs, sometimes it's like whoever's canning it, it's more influenced by them. It seems the opposite here, and I like that. Valued availability, and its other half. It's a collab with a super hype brewery from UK. This has got to be 20 plus 4-pack, I'm guessing. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like... If you like Other Half and you like OG's Treehouse kind of green vibes and you want something to meet in the middle, because that's where this one kind of shows up. Sure, that minty thing is not necessarily a Treehouse component, but it has that green, it has that Other Half type of hazy going on, but then you added that little bit of minty eucalyptus thing on top of it. Love it all day. So there you go. Another review in the books. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Check out the podcast. Thank you again very much, Gordon, for the beer. Hopefully you guys enjoying something as killer as this one. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.